Light energy. Light is also transmitted in waves, but at different frequencies than sound waves. Each color in the rainbow is made up of light of a different wavelength and frequency. This is demonstrated when light passes through a prism, which bends the light and causes the different frequencies to separate. Aside from direct transmission, light can be retransmitted in these ways. Refraction, the bending of light when it passes from one medium, such as air, into another, such as the glass of a prism. Different wavelengths of light bend at different angles. The reason for this bending is that, as with all waves, light slows down when traveling through a denser medium. Reflection, the bouncing back of light rays toward their source when they hit a surface. The angle at which light strikes a surface, called the angle of incidence, is equal to the angle at which it is reflected. A lens is an optical device that is often used to refract light, particularly in telescopes and microscopes, where precise refocusing of the available light is crucial. Concave lenses are curved inward in the middle to disperse, spread out, the available light. Convex lenses are curved outward to focus light. A lens may be clear or opaque to allow light to pass through, or it may be a mirror to redirect the light in the general direction of the source. Magnetic energy. Magnetism is the study of magnets, their properties, and their effects on other materials. Magnets attract iron, steel, and other materials with high iron content. Metals alloys with iron content are called ferrous metals. Earth is a magnet because of its dense iron core. Magnets have a north and a south pole that attract the opposite poles of other magnets. Together the north and south poles of a magnet form a magnetic field in which the magnetic forces of attraction and repulsion are exerted. Chapter 6 discusses the concepts of magnetism and electromagnetism in greater detail, especially regarding the impact on electron flow and electrical conductivity. Life sciences. The life, natural, sciences include biology, anatomy and physiology, and ecology. These are the study of living organisms and their interactions. Beginning with biology, you will review the basic system of classifying organisms according to type. Next you will brush up on cells, the basic building blocks of living things. Turning to human anatomy and physiology, you will review the function and interrelationships of the human body's major systems. Finally, the ecology review defines the major terminology and culminates in a discussion of Earth's biomes and the food chain that links all Earth's organisms. Biology. Biology is the study of life and living things, called organisms. All organisms go through a process of creation, development, reproduction, death, and decomposition. Organisms consume energy and resources throughout their lifespan and, ultimately, recycle their components back into nature. Life is a process in which individual organisms have beginnings and endings, but attempt to preserve a continuing cycle of existence of their species. Before we dig too deeply, let's see how organisms are classified into groups. Taxonomy. The enormous job of classifying, or organizing into groups, all living things, called taxonomy, took its currently accepted form in the 18th century, and is known as the Linnean system. Organisms are classified according to shared characteristics, physical structures, or genetic traits. From broadest to narrowest, Table 1.3 outlines these groupings. Table 1.3 How organisms are classified. Classification. Example, human beings. Kingdom. Animalia phylum. Chordata class. Mammalia order. Primates family. Hominidae genus. Homo species. Sapiens. In everyday conversation, we refer to ourselves simply as people or human beings, yet biologists must be more precise to differentiate among the many varieties of similar organisms that exist and evolve over time. The example given in Table 1.3 contains the complete and exact scientific name for present-day human beings. The top level of the classification, the kingdom, represents the broadest group with which humans share similar characteristics. We have more in common with animals than with plants or fungi, for example. As you work your way down the classification hierarchy, the groupings become smaller and more specific until you get to the narrowest grouping, species, where you find that you are now describing only one organism. When scientists are specifying a particular organism, they usually use the scientific name for that organism, which is a combination of the genus and the species. For example, a human being is Homo sapiens. Most often, you will see organisms referred to using a binomial, to-name, abbreviation of their classification, which uses only their genus and species, for example, Homo sapiens for humans, or Ornicus orcus for killer whales. Note: biologists recognize 5 distinct kingdoms of organisms, as defined in Table 1.4, and every living organism belongs to only one of these kingdoms. Although this may seem like common sense now, it represented a significant step forward in our knowledge, and has allowed biologists to organize their discoveries and better understand the organisms they study. Table 1.4 Kingdoms. Kingdom General Characteristics. Examples: Monera single cell, no true nucleus. Blue-green algae Protista single cell, true nucleus, membrane. Amoebas fungi. Multicell, eat by external digestion followed by absorption. Slime molds, fungi. Table 1.4 Continued Kingdom General Characteristics. Examples: Plantae multicell, almost all plants make their own food through photosynthesis. Ferns, flowering plants, trees. Animalia multicell, can be carnivores, herbivores, or omnivores. Birds, reptiles, mammals, jellyfish. Although you will not be required to memorize the correct kingdom for every organism, the Asvab does contain questions relating to the animal kingdoms, so be sure to give Table 1.4 a look. Cells. Cells are the smallest unit of life. They contain distinct parts, as seen in the plant cell diagram in Figure 1.5, and in the animal cell diagram in Figure 1.6, and perform the basic functions of life. Cytoplasm is the name for all parts of a cell, except for the cell membrane, sometimes called plasma membrane. The cytoplasm includes the organelles, or compartmented sections, which perform the cell's various life functions and chemical reactions. Table 1.5 describes the organelles. Ribosome vacuole. Chloroplast. Mitochondria. Nucleus. Plant cell. Cell membrane. Cytoplasm. Cell wall. Figure 1.5a Plant cell. Endoplasmic reticulum. Golgi body. Vacuole. Lysosome. Mitochondria nucleus. Animal cell. Cell membrane. Nuclear membrane. Cytoplasm nucleolus. Figure 1.6 An animal cell. Table 1.5